Months of propaganda drove people to embrace face masks, weaving them into the very fabric of society. Mask became a powerful visual reminder for everyone, a way for all to publicly participate in the hysteria, and further condition the public for mindless obedience. The medical establishment has long known that surgical and cloth masks essentially offer no protection from viruses. So what is the real science of face coverings?
One of the first videos to be incredibly censored, I brought my 12-year-old son into my studio on live television, and we bought a CO2 monitor. And I put that CO2 monitor up underneath his mask, and I had him wear all the different masks that we use, whether it was a surgical mask or an N95, or we even tested a shield and a bandana. But what we saw was incredibly alarming. So now we're in the place where he could be having headaches. He can be, we're at 3,786. Look at this, we've just passed 5,000. Now we're in the toxic level. Right now we could be doing this 7,000 inside this mask of the CO2, 8,000 parts per million. And now this thing's gone off the Richter scale, folks. It can't even register how high the CO2 levels are inside. And look how many seconds that was. All right.
Can I just...
Yeah, you want to take that off? Now, CO2 is what OSHA monitors. That's our government agency that travels around making sure that the air people breathe in their offices or in their manufacturing plants is healthy. They all have CO2 monitors on the wall so that if the CO2 level gets too high, like a canary in the coal mine, luckily we have one of these monitors, we have people rush out of the room until they fix the problem. The body of science around this world shows that masks do not work, and in fact tend to cut oxygen, raise CO2 levels. I've even brought in OSHA experts on my show that said that's exactly the study we did, and we know that's true. We know it denies you oxygen.
OSHA's stance on respiratory protection, whether it's masks, whether it's surgical masks, whether it's N95s or true respirators as far as a CAPR, airline supplied respirators, PAPR, whatever it might be, OSHA has what's called a respiratory protection program. And this standard was written in 1979 in response to the fact that many employees and contractors were wearing their own homemade masks or their own face coverings. Because they were being exposed to paint fumes or dusts or whatever hazard it might be in their working environment that was a nuisance to them or an irritant to their respiratory linings. And so they were just wearing their own homemade whatever, right? So what we found is that by allowing people to work in their own homemade respiratory protection, we were actually causing a greater hazard. We were causing people to work with reduced oxygen intake, reduced carbon dioxide output, and in addition, we were really finding that we were stressing the cardiopulmonary systems of these employees. Because when you cover the mouth and nose and you exert physical energy during your work or during your task, whatever it might be, you're really stressing the cardiopulmonary system because you change the way that you breathe. You have to forcibly inhale and forcibly exhale. That taxes the heart. It taxes the lungs. And we have given people heart attacks by allowing them to work with their mouth and nose covered with absolutely no regulation, no oversight, no medical oversight, no work rest cycles, things like that. So OSHA actually created the respiratory protection standard to prevent people from working with their mouth and nose covered and exerting physical energy because of the greater hazard that it creates.
I don't think it takes a lot of common sense to figure out that if you obstruct your breathing, that it's going to have a detrimental effect. For example, there was a court case in Germany where I believe it was bank employees were required to wear masks for the whole shift, like 8 hours a day. And there was a doctor who testified with evidence from, I believe, EEG studies that showed actual brain damage as a result of that, and that case was successful.
Masks can not only lower your oxygen intake to unhealthy amounts, but they can raise your CO2 intake to dangerous levels, causing severe harm. The ambient air around us is only 0.04% carbon dioxide, yet our exhaled breath is 100 times greater at 4%. A carbon dioxide level of 4% is at the threshold of an immediate danger to life and health, according to OSHA. Carbon dioxide overdose causes rapid unconsciousness, followed by death, which is why carbon dioxide is commonly used to euthanize animals.